Tonight on the program, we examine the trend of impeachments in our state houses of assembly, with the speakers almost becoming an endangered species. Only recently in Delta State, the speaker, Monday Ibuya, was impeached and suspended. And now in Edo State, the speculations arrive that the speaker, Justin Okonobo, may be facing impeachment, though the speaker says nothing like of such is in the offing. But Edo State has had a history of several impeachments and changes of its speakers in the recent past. And it's not only in Edo State. We've had issues with the leadership of the House of Assembly in Kogi State, in Abia State. Well, the Edo State case is interesting because the House, after a 2-month recess, suspended plenary indefinitely yesterday when they came back. And they say the reason is for renovation. A lawyer, Aliyu Abdullahi, joins the discussion. He's joining us from Abuja studios. Thank you very much, Abdullahi, for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for having me.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. Before we go into the issue of impeachment in our state houses of assembly, we've had that the Edo State House of Assembly says it's suspending plenary for renovation, and then there was no time frame put as to when they'll be resuming. This is after going on a 2-month holiday. Is it legal that a State House of Assembly on its own decides to take a break because it's renovating? What happens to the people who put them there, the people who they're supposed to be representing?
Well, you see, I believe that the House of Assembly or the National Assembly, as the case may be, they are there actually to legislate, to do 2 things actually: to legislate, make good laws for the country, and also represent their constituencies. And if there is anything, if they couldn't perform those functions, then there is a big issue of whether they are really needed in the first place. You see, there have been recent calls from quarters about part-time legislators. So if houses of assembly will continue to show this kind of attitude, then the call for part-time legislation will actually gain momentum. Now, about the legality of not actually representing their constituency, I think it's you can find a ground under the Constitution, because the Constitution was very clear. It says there should be a House of Assembly, and also it listed that there should be members of the House of Assembly that will be 3 or 4 times times the number of the House of Representatives from that particular state. So they could be from 20, but not more than, I think, 45 or 50. So once the constituencies are not ably represented due to some political shenanigans, then you question whether that particular provision of the Constitution is actually infringed. So that will be something that will be interesting to see if someone can actually take it up to test the veracity of that in the courts of law. And then we can get a clear interpretation for non-sitting of members of Legislative House. It depends how much duration of time are we looking at that will constitute an infringement of the provision of that Constitution. So, and then also, if we're talking about suspension of members of the Legislative House, whether indefinite or not, that's a clear, I think, in my own opinion, a clear violation of the laws of the land.
Okay, just a moment, Abdullahi. Let me come in there before we go into the impeachment matter. This same Edo State House of Assembly have in the past held plenary in Government House in Edo State, because for one reason or the other. But they then come up and say, oh, we are renovating. That's the reason why we cannot hold plenary. or we have to take a break for a season. Is there any law that states that the State House of Assembly has to sit in the chambers if they've met elsewhere before?
Well, in my own opinion, I believe that the State House of Assembly has their own the chambers where they should sit, unless if they're carrying out some functions like the oversight functions of other agencies, federal government, state agencies, and so on. If you could recall, there was a case, I think, back then in Nasarawa State, where some members of the State House of Assembly decided to impeach the governor, I think the current governor of Nasarawa State, Governor Tanko Almakura. They went to sit in a hotel somewhere to pass that, and then that particular action was deemed not in tandem with the laws. So if we will go by that, I believe that the rightful place for them to sit is the assembly, and unless if they're carrying some other legitimate functions of their mandates somewhere.
Okay.
Outside that, I believe they have not actually fulfilled their functions or their mandate of representing their constituencies.
Okay, we'll take a moment now, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation on impeachment and reinstatement in our state houses of assembly. Join us again.